Hello everyone, welcome to the Spare Tire, where us three engineers talk about cars and the engineering behind it. My name is Forenz, this is Koni and Rudy, and this week we had the chance to drive the 2016 Mazda Miata in a parking lot.
Welcome back, guys. We're in our top secret car building facility here, and we want to talk to you guys a little bit more about our experience that we just had testing the new 2016 Miata. There was a few things that we had a chance to do with the car. One, do a braking test. Two, do a slalom test for the stability control. And three, take it out on a hot lap across the mini autocross course.
So right now we're going to talk about the braking, the event of the braking. How do you guys like it?
It was pretty good. I felt it was very responsive. I mean, it's a light car, so you'd expect it to brake good under heavy braking situations. I did get the traction control to kick in while I was braking.
And you, Koni, how do you like it?
I think it felt pretty good. The pedal feel was there. The ABS kicked in, but it didn't make the car feel like it was going to go crazy or anything. And I'd say it brakes well, and the ABS is great.
The only thing I felt was the pedal was going down, as if you had some brake fade. I don't know, ABS usually kicks you back up, right? This one just drained the pedal on hard braking.
Yeah, I felt that.
So it was kind of weird for that.
I guess it was, but it kept it more linear, I think, instead of kicking you back in the foot. So I thought it was fine. But hey, if you're driving that thing properly, you're not supposed to even be hitting ABS.
That is true.
So now let's go ahead and take a look at the footage that we took in the little braking course so that you guys can get a good idea and see how the MX-5 brakes.
So up next, we try the car on the slalom. Pretty much they wanted to test the stability control. So what do you guys think?
It actually handled pretty well. I was a noob at first when I went the first time. I was trying to drive it with one hand through the slalom, through the cones, which isn't the best way to drive that car apparently, because I was going a little OG on it and the guy was, keep both hands on the steering wheel. It'll give you more control, which it does.
That is true. That is true. Two hands on the steering wheel is important on the track.
But it handled pretty good. I like the way it felt while going through the cones. It had a lot of control.
What about you, Koni?
Oh, I think it was pretty good. I could get it really close to the cones. It did lean a good amount, but the lean didn't feel like it was in the way or anything. It just was part of the turning experience, and it was great in my opinion.
Don't you feel like just because it leans so much, you could get the rear a little bit unhooked?
Yeah.
Just slightly.
It makes it much easier to control the weight transfer with the amount of lean that it has.
Indeed.
I think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. The only issue is this car has an open diff, and we're going to see that on the later part of the episode. But for now, we're going to cut to the footage. Let's see how we do. Now finally, the hot laps.
Hot lap.
It was great to drive a manual Miata finally. What do you think?
The first time that I went through the course, I was taking it a little easier. I mean, I drive normally an FRS, so like the feel, and especially like when I'm on coilovers, so the car doesn't move as much when I'm taking turns. And when you're driving with this Miata on the stock suspension, you have a lot of body roll. So it was kind of different. I didn't push it as hard as I would have wanted to push it since it's my first time driving this car. I don't know how the car will react to me trying to flip it fast or not, but I did get it to lose traction a few times. I got maybe a couple of drifts. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good experience.
What about you, Koni?
I thought it was pretty good. The thing that surprised me the most was even with the traction control still on, the rear would break loose a little bit, and then the traction control, like on most older cars, it didn't just punch you back into straightness. It let you slide it just a little bit, and then took you back into the grip nice and gently, and you could keep driving and have a good time. And I think the car handled great.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was a couple of times where I let the back loose, where I thought the car was gonna jerk me back into a straight position, and it didn't. It just kept going through, and it felt good.
The engineers really fine-tuned the system to allow a first driver, first comer, just to get the car to that limit. When I was driving it, I felt a couple of points where I hit some understeer, but once you're getting into the oversteer, even though it had an open diff, the system just allowed you to drive so much faster than any other car when you start. Like I would push it, just stomp the brakes, turn it in, flick it in, the tail would slide out, but never too much, never too little. It was a little annoying because it jitters once the system is on, but once you get used to that, you just start enjoying hearing the tires squeal slightly once you're at the limit of the tire.
I don't know where you felt understeer. For me, I felt no understeer at all. I think the car was set up pretty well.
It's mostly when you get into braking and back onto throttle, while flicking it at the same time, just the front slight understeer, where you would have the rear just unhook a little bit. This one just pulled the front, but I'm used to a car that's like 57% weight distribution up front. So this is a little different with a 50-50.
50-50 all the way, man.
You drive an S2000, which is basically
like 49-51 even.
So
but it's pretty much the big brother of the Miata.
Exactly. We have both different cars, so
I felt right at home in the Miata.
Exactly. So let's cut to the footage and see how we do.
What'd you guys think of that course at Auto Club Speedway? It was a little easy, right? Kind of long straights, no cones, nothing too tight. Maybe we should do something different.
Yeah, and I didn't know the car, and like I just completely sucked at driving it.
Wait, Rudy, how did you hold the wheel, Rudy? Please show everyone. Please show everyone. Like a gangster. OG Rudy cruising down the street in the new Miata with the top down.
E-brake.
And then on day 2, how was it? It was completely different, right? You learned something.
Yeah. I mean, part of the experience was with the instructor. On the braking, we had this amazing instructor. What was his name again? Todd, I believe?
I think it was Todd.
Yeah, it was Todd.
It was Todd.
Todd started with a T.
He was really energetic, and you know, the point of a Miata is to have fun. So having the right person next to you is part of the experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And they taught me a thing or two about tracking since I'm a noob, and the instructor that I was driving with had 35 years experience on the track. That was really helpful for me.
So on the second day, what do you guys see that was a little different?
Well, let's cut to the footage and find out.
So, since we saw this footage, didn't you guys realize the car would sway side to side like way too much?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's due to the suspension that the car has.
But why so soft?
It's subjective. Very subjective.
Why?
It can be soft and still handle well, you know, with low center of gravity and everything. But it also gives you more, like, feeling of, like, adrenaline rush when you're leaning the car and it's like, oh my god, it's gonna roll over. And then you switch turns and then it's leaning the other way. It's just more G-forces, more roller coaster. Like, I kind of think it's just more fun. It's not as fast, but it's more fun. And what's the point of a small convertible roadster? It's just fun.
Indeed, I'm just seeing it from the engineering standpoint. It's just not as efficient as it could be. But as a car, it's probably not for a driver like me that enjoys a little rough ride.
Also, efficiency in what way? What if we're talking about the most efficient way to have fun, or the most efficient way to get a good lap time, or the most efficient way to get to work on a Monday?
That is true. That is true.
I guess it all just boils down to what the purpose for the car is, really.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Indeed. I would more turn it into a Sunday track car. Probably you'd have it more of a daily driver.
Yeah, daily driving it down PCH with the top down.
I would tear through the canyons with the top down and then go through PCH with the top down and just do donuts wherever I could and probably still be under the speed limit most of the time.
Yeah, but it's a fun car. I mean, at this point, I guess we can just go back to the track on day 2 and we can look at our final day impressions.
Would you guys buy these cars? I mean, considering the price, if it was only a new car and you would be choosing between the FRS, what new other car does in this class?
That's pretty much it. It's the FRS and this. They both start around 25 grand. They both handle well, rear wheel drive, they're light. There's really nothing else under 30 grand that fits any of those combined.
Yeah. Personally, I like the technological part of the car. The ABS and the traction control works great, but I would go with the BRZ or the FRS just because it's a more straight to the field car. Turn off the traction control, you got a diff. It comes with every single level of the car. Versus this one, you'd have to pay the top bank.
No, it's the middle. The middle trim has the LSD.
Really?
The top one is this one. This is a Gran Turismo model, and it has leather and heated seats and navigation and all those things that you probably don't really want so much in a little convertible that you're going to drive in mountain roads and the racetrack at. But the club one is the in-between one, which does have the LSD cloth seats, bigger brakes, I think, better suspension, and all that good stuff.
That is good. I didn't know that part.
It looks like someone right up on there. On their
I
profile
used
pamphlet.
to have a Miata. This isn't my first time around.
So how do you compare then your old Miata to this one?
This one, they're actually very similar, but this one just felt modern, refined, and I mean, it wasn't 20-something years old, so it wasn't creaking. There was no air leaks or anything. It was a brand new car.
That's good.
I think it really carries the spirit of the first one over really well.
For somebody who's interested in automotive but doesn't have the time or the investment, they take this car, they go in the canyons, and they'll have fun.
Yeah, it's a very easy car to drive. I really enjoy driving it. I mean, to you track junkies, as opposed to me, would you guys consider this to be a good track car?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
It's got the most important thing. They added the most important thing you could possibly add to a track car to it, and that is lightness.
That is
exactly.
True. That is true. You can have tons of power, you can have tons of tire, tons of aero, but if you're heavy, you'll be slower.
Hey.
And you'll wear out all your stuff faster and
What are you
spend
trying to
way
say?
more money.
What are you trying to say?
Oh,
I'm a little...
Oh, yeah. Get rid of your spare tire.
And we're calling you slow, Rudy. It's okay.
See how it is?
So you're the Captain Slow of our group.
All right, they're about to kick us out of the event because the venue's closing soon, so we're going to take it back to the garage and we're going to have a full debrief there.
But wait, one more thing. We got to fill our spare tire with some food.
Oh, that's right. Can't forget.
I know, I'm kind of hungry.
Time to fill up the spare tire.
We can't forget about that.
I had a great time at the event. How about you guys?
I loved it.
Yes, I had such an amazing time that, I mean, all of this couldn't have been made possible without the support from Mazda and just marketing. I want to give thanks to you guys for throwing such an amazing event and letting us test all these cars.
And the event was made better because there was a lot of cars that were manual transmission. So thank you, Mazda.
And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Spare Tire while we go fill ours.
Salut tout le monde! Aujourd'hui, mes amis et moi, on va parler de la Mazda Miata 2016. Nous sommes le groupe Spare Tyre et nous avons eu la chance par Mazda de conduire dans un parking lot. I guess.
No, actually, that sounded great.
I don't know what you said, but it's not.